The last topic here has to do with what happened on the sidelines of Davos and has to do with Bill Gates and health. Those are two things that you never want to see put together, but they just naturally tend to go in that way. Now, I'm not going to show the video because I will absolutely get banned if I show the video, even though the video is on YouTube. Well, because it's my channel, I'll get hit. So I'm not going to do it. But on the sidelines of Davos, Bill Gates was interviewed about what's going on with healthcare, specifically vitamins, AI, and quantum dot. Well, they don't call it quantum dot. They call it microneedle patches. That's what they call it. But to summarize that interview, Gates says the future of healthcare and vitamin delivery will go through AI and the microneedle patches. Now, if you don't understand what this is pointing to, it is pointing towards quantum dot ultimately, because quantum dot is a mix of AI technology as well as medical vitamin delivery injection type stuff. Now, these things aren't new, and Gates has been funding them for a while. I've talked kind of updated on this area of things for a while, and well, we're getting more updates on it. So if we take a look, he's been involved with this for a while. Bill Gates and Intellectual Ventures funds microchip implant vitamin technology. And it says the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has donated more than $21 million towards developing a vitamin technology that uses a tattoo-like mechanism which injects invisible nanoparticles under the skin that is now being tested in a vitamin against the 2020 stuff, the COOF. And then you'll see biocompatible near-infrared quantum dot delivered to the skin by microneedle patches records vitamin. Yeah. So this has to do with these tiny little microneedles on a patch that you just put on there, and then they go into the skin. They'll partially dissolve, and then they leave behind a dye in a certain formation, mark, brand, design, something like that, that can then be scanned, and it will tell you if the person has had it and what it is that they had. So if we take a little bit more of a look at this here, this is how it works. If you guys have seen the quantum dot stuff, I'm sure I'm not saying anything new, but just in case there's somebody who hasn't heard it, it's probably best to go over it. So yeah, you've got this little patch here with these little microneedles. I mean, these things are tiny, and they go into the skin, partially dissolve, and they unload whatever it is that's in them, and then they leave behind the little dye there, and you can see with the right lights, it'll go ahead and show up for if you're scanning it. So the microneedles are little patches, or I call them brand-aids, which is where I got the title for this thing. I call them brand-aids. Basically copper-based quantum dots that leave a dye within and on the skin. So it's not just on, it's not just in, it's both. That's important. That's key to understand. The needles will partially dissolve, releasing whatever is in them and leaving the dye behind, which again contains the mark, brand, or design, and you can then scan it and confirm it. Now, when we see things like this, because I know everybody's first thing starts going towards the mark of the beast, which it does for me too, so I'm not calling anybody out. This seems to be going in that direction quite heavily. So when we see things like this, along with AI and digital IDs and wallets, because these things can easily be interconnected in some type of way, we can begin to see the outline of the mark of the beast in Revelation 13. So if we take a look, Revelation 13, 16 through 17, causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. No one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Now, again, when it comes to other technology, we see a lot of things starting to go in the way of head and hand, whether it's Amazon One's Palm Pay, biometric eye scans, and all these things. It's always the head and it's always the hand. They always seem to be going in that direction. So We see what's going on as far as technology when it comes to identification, as far as that goes, as well as transactions, retail transactions. And then we also see what's going on the healthcare when it comes to things like this that have to do with putting a brand or a mark on and in the skin. Now, why is that important? Because usually the question that follows when it comes to the mark of the beast is, does it mean on or in? Is it a tattoo? Is it an injection? What is it? Well, my answer for that is yes. It's both. Because if you look at the scripture, not our English version, but if you go into the Greek, you will see that it actually means both. So again, if we look at this, it says to receive a mark on their hand. So first of all, you go to the Greek and you look up mark. You'll find something like charagma, a stamp impress or brand mark. Was originally any impress on a coin or a seal, later became the identification marker, like with an owner's unique brand or mark. Also, it's a stamp mark from the same as karax, a scratch or etching. So if we go and we take a look at that, so right here we got on. This is on an identification marker, stamp impress, that's on the skin. Well, same from karax, which if you look at it, pointed stake, a rampart, a pale or stake, or a palisade. What is a palisade? See those little spiky thingies? It's a needle, it's a point, it's a spike. So you look up mark in the Greek, you get both on and in, same as what you would find in Revelation 13 there. If you look at quantum dot, it's both on and in the skin as well. That's why I think it's a good stepping stone, a good foundation for the mark of the beast. And this is what Bill Gates is doing for vitamins and healthcare and identification and all these things. Plus, we see again what's going on with technology as far as digital IDs, as well as buying and payment, utilizing both head and hand. We seem to be going in that direction as well. You combine those two things. He's talking about AI and a computer system. You got yourself quite the recipe for cooking something up that fits along the lines of Revelation 13. In the past, I have said that the quantum dot is the mark. Shouldn't have said that because I don't know. Seems to be going in that direction. So if you ask me the question, is that the mark of the beast? I don't know. I don't think that is the mark of the beast. I think it's a stepping stone towards it. But that also leaves to the question of, is that the mark of the beast? Because they're using it now. No, it's not. It is not the mark of the beast today. Now, I could simply answer the question because, first of all, the mark of the beast comes within Daniel's 70th week or the 70th week of Daniel, whatever you want to, you know what I mean. We're not there. No, we're not there. Second of all, the church isn't going to be there for that. So if we're still here, and that happens in the 70th week, which the church is not going to be there, then no, that is not the mark of the beast. That's one of the biggest things that is unfortunate when it comes to us who are trying to share the gospel of Christ, because we have a lot of people out there that they jump at the first sign of something that looks remotely close to the mark of the beast, saying, there it is. There's the mark of the beast. And it just makes us look stupid. It just makes us look stupid. That's not the mark of the beast. It's not. They're using quantum dot stuff today, not on a broad range, but they're using it today. It's not the mark of the beast. So it's just not going to happen. We're not in that range. Second of all, it's called the mark of the beast. You need to have a beast here for it to be the mark of said beast. There's no beast here yet. Do I believe that the Antichrist is waiting behind the curtain somewhere? I do, but that does not mean that the beast is here. There's a difference. So no, it's not the mark of the beast. But with the direction that it's going, along with the direction of retail stuff, so you've got the healthcare, which that's another side of the mark of the beast that a lot of people don't talk about. This thing is going to make it so you cannot receive salvation through Jesus Christ. That is going to warp your DNA. You're not going to be human anymore. We're not at that point yet. So that's one avenue. So you got the healthcare side. Then you've got the technology side of retail with what we see going on with that you're buy and you sell. They're working on it. We can see stepping stones in that direction. There's people out there that'll sit there and go, you can't see signs of the convergence of the end times because it goes against the doctrine of imminency. And I sit there and go, are you out of your mind? We are seeing stepping stones of all these things that we know are going to happen in the day of the Lord starting to converge at the same time. And you're telling me that that has nothing to do with what we're told to watch for? I'll argue that, yeah. And that does not defeat the doctrine of imminency. There's a difference between watching the convergence of signs and paying attention to them and seeing these stepping stones as compared to going, that's the mark of the beast. The rapture is going to happen at this high watch date. Well, that defeats the doctrine of imminency. What we do here does not. We are doing exactly what the Lord told us to do, and we're watching for the signs of the season of his return. We don't know when that exactly is going to happen. There's the doctrine of imminency. But we will know the season while we see the convergence, the birth pains of the day of the Lord happening. So is that the mark of the beast? No. Do I believe it's stepping stones towards it? Absolutely. You're darn tootin'.